July 7th, 1944, the assault begins. The sun was setting over Caen, casting long shadows across the battlefield as we prepared for the anticipated Allied assault. The Allied forces had been bombarding our positions for days, and the city itself was partially in ruins. As a German soldier, the constant noise and smoke from artillery fire had become a grim backdrop to our daily existence. Our positions on the outskirts of Caen were fortified with sandbags and barbed wire, but we knew the Allies were determined to push through. The sound of approaching tanks and the distant rumble of artillery signaled the start of what would become one of the most intense battles we had experienced. The air was thick with tension, and we braced ourselves for the inevitable clash. July 8th, 1944, the heavy assault. The morning of July 8th brought the first major wave of the Allied assault. Our defenses were subjected to a heavy bombardment as Allied aircraft flew overhead, dropping bombs on key positions. The ground shook with every explosion, and debris flew everywhere. The Allies had massive air superiority, and their fighter bombers strafed our positions, making it nearly impossible to maintain any form of cover. We were hit hard by waves of infantry supported by tanks. The Allies' Sherman tanks pushed forward relentlessly, their cannons blasting through our defenses. We attempted to hold our ground with anti-tank guns and panzerfausts, but the overwhelming force of the Allied advance was relentless. The sound of gunfire, tank treads, and explosions filled the air, creating a cacophony of war. July 10th, 1944, fighting in the rubble. By July 10th, the battle had moved into the city itself. Caen was a landscape of rubble, with buildings reduced to piles of debris. Fighting was now taking place at close quarters, with house-to-house combat becoming the norm. The Allies had managed to push deep into the city, and we were forced to engage them in the narrow streets and alleyways. The rubble provided some cover, but it also made movement difficult. The Allies used the ruins to their advantage, setting up ambushes and sniping from hidden positions. We had to adapt quickly, using whatever cover we could find and moving cautiously through the maze of destroyed buildings. The urban combat was intense, with every street and corner becoming a potential battleground. July 12th, 1944, the struggle to hold on. Despite our best efforts, the Allies continued their push through Caen. We were engaged in a fierce struggle to hold on to key positions, but the constant pressure and lack of reinforcements made it increasingly difficult. The Allies' superior numbers and equipment were taking their toll on our defenses. Our command posts were frequently relocated as the front lines shifted. The constant shelling and air raids made it hard to establish any stable positions. We faced shortages of ammunition and supplies, and the relentless nature of the battle wore down our troops. July 15th, 1944, the fall of Caen. By July 15th, it became clear that Caen was lost. The Allies had managed to capture the majority of the city, and our remaining forces were ordered to withdraw. The city, once a stronghold, was now under Allied control. The retreat was conducted under heavy fire, with the Allies pushing us back as we fell back to new defensive lines. The fall of Caen was a significant blow. We had fought fiercely, but the combined might of the Allied forces had overwhelmed us. As we pulled back, the reality of our situation set in. The battle for Caen was a stark reminder of the Allies' determination and the growing challenges we faced on the Western Front.